Ladies and gentlemen, fear is the silent enemy that destroys more dreams than failure ever could. It hides in the shadows of our minds. It whispers lies in the darkness of doubt. It creeps in quietly, convincing you to shrink, to hesitate, to stop. But I am here to tell you, fear is not real. It is a construct, a mental phantom. It is the product of an undisciplined mind. Fear has no power except the power you give it. And today, we take that power back. Section 1, the origin of fear. Understand this fear is not something we are born with. It is learned. It is conditioned into us by the world, by repeated disappointments, by other people's failures, and by our own imagination running wild. No baby fears the climb, no child hesitates to dream, but somewhere along the road of life, we start to believe that the mountain is too high, the dream is too big, the failure too painful. Let me make this clear, fear is a liar. It promises protection, but it delivers paralysis. It tells you to wait when action is the only answer. It says, be careful, when what you need is to be courageous. Section 2, the nature of fear. Mental conditioning. Fear exists only in the mind. It is a thought, nothing more, and like any thought, it can be controlled, redirected, and replaced. You have been taught to fear. Now it's time to unlearn how, through repetition, through discipline, through definiteness of purpose. When your purpose is clear, fear vanishes like smoke. When your goal is defined and your will is committed, fear has no room to stay. Section 3, the tools to destroy fear. Let me give you the tools to remove fear completely, not suppress it, not manage it, remove it. Clarity of purpose. Know what you want, write it down, burn it into your mind. A person with a burning desire has no time to fear. Purpose pushes fear out of the way. Indecision breeds doubt. Doubt gives birth to fear. Make decisions quickly and clearly. Stand by them. Even a wrong decision is better than no decision because action breeds courage. Faith in action, not blind hope, not passive wishing, but belief backed by action. Move forward even when your knees tremble. The moment you act, fear loses strength. Faith is the weapon that annihilates fear, but only if it's applied. Your inner voice is your commander. If you say, I can't, fear grows. If you say, I will, fear fades. Repeat this: I am not afraid. I act with boldness. I choose courage over comfort. Say it until your brain believes it, and it will. Defy the fear daily, every day. Do one thing that frightens you. Speak up. Take the risk, say yes, say no, whatever your fear is, face it, because repetition kills fear. Replacing fear with power. You can't remove fear by running from it. You remove it by replacing it. Replace fear with knowledge. Replace fear with action. Replace fear with definiteness of purpose. Replace fear with belief in yourself. Here is a truth you must never forget. You are stronger than fear. Fear is reactive. You are creative. Fear waits, you move. Fear hides, you stand. You were never meant to live in the cage of fear. You were built to rise, to lead, to conquer. The consequence of fear: those who surrender to fear die with their dreams still inside them. They bury their talents, hoping no one notices. They walk through life apologizing for their existence. But those who overcome fear, they live twice, once in the body, and once in the legacy they leave behind. Let this be the day you stop letting fear run your life. Let this be the hour you choose courage over comfort. Let this be the moment your spirit breaks its chains. You do not remove fear by waiting. You remove fear by rising. Closing declaration style. Say this with me now. I am not afraid. I choose to live with purpose. I take action. I speak boldly. I move forward with faith. I am unstoppable. I am fearless. Fear cannot survive in a mind that is clear, committed, and courageous. So burn your fear, bury your doubt, and rise as the person you were always meant to be. Your destiny begins when fear ends. And fear ends now. Fear is not born within you. It does not flow through your veins like a natural current. It is not the legacy of your birthright or the essence of your spirit. No, fear is a visitor, a trespasser, that gains entrance only when you allow it. It is taught, implanted, and nurtured in the fertile soil of the mind. Like a weed in a garden, it spreads when unattended. choking the growth of your dreams and your true potential. Consider this carefully. The very moment you take your first breath, you possess no fear. A newborn child does not shrink from the unknown, nor does it hesitate to reach toward what it desires. It is curiosity and courage that drive the infant to explore, to learn, to live. Fear, then, is a shadow cast by experience and instruction. It creeps in through the stories told, the warnings given, and the failures witnessed. From early childhood, society whispers the language of fear. Be careful, it says, don't try that, you might fail. These words, though spoken with intention to protect, act as invisible chains, binding the mind to limitation. You learn to fear rejection, loss, pain, and the uncertainty that accompanies change. Slowly, the spirit becomes confined by the invisible bars of these learned fears. But remember this, fear has no independent existence apart from the mind that nurtures it. It is a mere idea, a thought that you have allowed to grow stronger than it deserves. It is an illusion, a mirage, that fades once you see it clearly for what it is. You have the power to unlearn fear just as you learned it. The mind is a garden that can be cultivated with seeds of courage and confidence rather than weeds of doubt and anxiety. The key lies in awareness. When you recognize that fear is not an inherent truth but a mental habit, you begin to reclaim your power. You start to understand that fear only controls you when you give it permission. It thrives in uncertainty and hesitation, but weakens in the light of clarity and action. This truth is your liberation. You do not have to be the prisoner of fear. You can refuse to feed it with negative thoughts and instead choose to fill your mind with faith in yourself and your purpose. You can choose to replace the stories of failure and danger with stories of success and possibility. This is not mere optimism. It is a deliberate, disciplined approach to your thinking. Every moment you have the choice to nurture fear or to starve it. Fear is a false guardian, promising safety but delivering only stagnation. True safety is found in movement, in growth, in the courage to face the unknown with a steadfast heart. So, as you walk forward in your life, remind yourself that fear is not the voice of your soul. It is a whisper of the mind's uncertainty. You were created for greatness, for triumph, for the fulfillment of your deepest desires. Fear is merely a shadow on your path, and shadows disappear when you shine your light boldly upon them. Embrace this understanding. Take control of your thoughts. Refuse to let fear be your guide. And watch as the walls that once confined you crumble, leaving behind the boundless freedom of a mind unshackled, a spirit undeterred, and a life lived without fear. There is no greater weapon against fear than the burning fire of a clear and definite purpose. When your mind is fixed upon a single, unwavering goal, fear begins to dissolve as naturally as night gives way to dawn. The fog of doubt and hesitation lifts, replaced by the sharp, radiant light of certainty. This clarity of purpose becomes the compass that guides you through the storms of uncertainty, the anchor that holds you steady when waves of fear threaten to overwhelm. You see, the human mind is a powerful engine, but without a clear direction it becomes aimless. A vessel adrift on a turbulent sea, fear takes advantage of that aimlessness. It sneaks into the gaps where your resolve is weak, filling the void with questions. What if you fail? What if you are not good enough? What if the risk is too great? These questions breed hesitation, and hesitation is the soil in which fear grows. But when your purpose is crystal clear, these questions lose their grip. A man or woman with a clear purpose is like a warrior marching toward a battlefield with a banner held high, unshaken by the howling winds of doubt. Their mind is singular, focused, relentless. It says, I will achieve this goal, no matter the obstacles, no matter the fears. This clarity is not something that comes by chance. It is earned through deep reflection and relentless commitment. You must decide what it is you truly want, what vision compels your heart to beat faster and your spirit to awaken. Write it down, speak it aloud, make it your daily declaration. The clearer the picture, the stronger your mind's resistance to fear. Purpose acts like a shield, deflecting the arrows of fear and distraction. When you know where you are going, fear loses its ability to confuse you. It cannot paralyze a mind that is already determined. The stronger your purpose, the smaller fear becomes, until it is nothing more than a passing cloud on the horizon. Moreover, clarity of purpose fuels action. It pushes you forward even when uncertainty looms. Fear feeds on inaction and hesitation, but a clear purpose ignites decisive movement. Each step you take toward your goal is a blow to fear's power, weakening it further with every forward stride. Remember, it is impossible to be paralyzed by fear when your mind is ablaze with purpose. The two cannot coexist in harmony. One must give way. If fear lingers, it means your purpose is not yet strong enough, not yet vivid enough, not yet commanding your full attention. So commit yourself to the discipline of defining your purpose. Create a vision so compelling that fear cannot find a foothold. Let that vision become your guiding star, lighting the path through darkness, uncertainty, and hesitation. Focus all your mental energy on this purpose, and watch how fear, once a towering mountain, becomes a mere pebble beneath your feet. This is how you conquer fear, not by avoiding it, not by hoping it disappears, but by shining the powerful light of your clear, unwavering purpose upon it. Let your purpose burn so brightly within that fear has no choice but to flee. Fear thrives in hesitation. It feeds on the uncertain moments when you pause, when you weigh possibilities, when you wonder if the risk is too great or the outcome too uncertain. In those moments of indecision, fear grows strong, planting seeds of doubt and worry that soon choke your courage. But make no mistake, indecision is the birthplace of fear. The antidote is clear, decisive action. When you make a firm decision, something extraordinary happens within your mind. The swirling doubts quiet, the confusion fades, and a new force rises, momentum. This momentum is the power that sweeps fear away like dust in a strong wind. You do not need perfect knowledge or total confidence to act. What you need is the courage to decide and the determination to move forward. Every great success in history began with a single, decisive step. The man or woman who hesitates is often overtaken by those who act boldly despite uncertainty. Understand this truth deeply. Waiting for certainty is waiting for defeat. Life rewards those who make decisions quickly and act upon them with faith in their ability to learn, adapt, and overcome. Decision is the sharp edge of courage. It is the sword that cuts through the tangled web of fear and doubt. When you decide, you declare to the world and to yourself that you are the master of your destiny. You refuse to be paralyzed by the what-ifs and maybes. Instead, you say, "This is my course. I will follow it with all my strength." Do not be fooled into thinking that decisions must be perfect. Perfection is a myth that delays action and feeds fear. It is far better to decide and move forward, even if you must correct your course later, than to remain frozen in hesitation. Every step forward builds confidence, and confidence is the enemy of fear. Acting decisively does not mean reckless impulsiveness. It means thoughtful commitment. It means gathering the facts you need, then trusting your judgment and experience to guide you. It means standing firm even when doubts linger, because you know that motion creates progress. Remember, fear is strongest when you stand still. When you move, when you act, fear loses its grip. Even the smallest action taken with determination weakens fear's hold. Each forward movement is a victory, a declaration that you will not be stopped by doubt. The power to act decisively is within you. It is a habit that can be cultivated and strengthened every day. Make decisions quickly, act boldly, and refuse to look back with regret. When fear comes knocking, answer with action. Know this: the person who masters decisive action masters fear, and the person who masters fear commands their life. So, commit yourself to decision and action. Do not wait for perfect conditions or complete certainty. Seize the moment, choose your path, step forward with confidence. In the battle against fear, decisive action is your greatest ally. Your sword, your shield, your victory. Faith is the invisible force that moves mountains. It is the inner conviction that what you desire is not only possible, but inevitable if you act upon it. But faith alone is empty if not backed by action, and action without faith is aimless. Together, they form an unbreakable chain that shatters fear and propels you toward your highest goals. Fear arises when doubt takes hold, when the mind is uncertain whether success is possible or whether you have what it takes to claim it. Doubt is the opposite of faith, and when doubt rules, fear marches in as the unquestioned ruler of your thoughts. To defeat fear, you must cultivate faith, not blind hope, but firm belief grounded in your own power and potential. But belief alone will not deliver results. It must be paired with persistent action. Faith without action is a dream deferred, a prayer unanswered. Action without faith is a journey without direction. When combined, faith and action create unstoppable momentum. Consider this: faith is not a passive state. It is a call to move, to do, to engage with life's challenges boldly. When you take action inspired by faith, you send a message to your mind and your spirit. I believe in my purpose. I believe in my ability to overcome. This message silences fear's whispers. Every great achievement begins with this dynamic. The individual who moves forward despite trembling knees, who steps into the unknown with a heart full of faith, is the one who conquers fear and claims victory. You don't have to wait for courage to appear. Courage grows as you act in faith. Action fueled by faith transforms uncertainty into opportunity. It teaches you that setbacks are lessons, obstacles are tests, and failure is merely a stepping stone. Each action taken in faith builds resilience and weakens fear's grip. Furthermore, faith shapes your mind's vision. It colors your thoughts with positivity, hope, and confidence. It fuels persistence when circumstances seem impossible. It renews your strength each time fear tries to take hold. This is the great secret. Fear can only survive in the absence of faith and action. When faith rises, fear falls. When you act, fear retreats. The more you combine faith with action, the more unstoppable you become. Let this truth settle deep within your soul. You possess an unlimited reservoir of power when you align your belief with persistent effort. No external circumstance, no failure, no setback can break this union. It is the foundation of all success and the antidote to all fear. So, cultivate faith daily, nourish it with affirmations, with visualization, with the company of those who uplift you. Then, take bold steps toward your goals, no matter how small. Each step is a declaration that fear will not control you. Remember, the one who acts in faith lives in a world where fear has no dominion. Faith backed by action is not a gamble, it is a sure path to triumph. Stand firm in this truth, move forward with unwavering faith, act boldly and watch fear vanish before the unstoppable force you have become. The words you speak to yourself are the architects of your destiny. Within the quiet conversations you hold with your own mind lies the power to either build a fortress of courage or construct a prison of fear. Positive self-talk is not mere fluff or empty cheerleading. It is a disciplined, deliberate tool that rewires your mind, reshapes your beliefs, and ultimately banishes fear. Understand this: your mind is a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds. Speak words of fear, doubt, and hesitation, and you plant weeds that choke your confidence and cloud your vision. But speak words of strength, faith, and courage, and you cultivate a garden where fear cannot survive. Positive self-talk is the act of consciously planting those seeds of courage every single day. Fear grows when you whisper, "I can't," "I'm not enough," or "this is too hard." These words become self-fulfilling prophecies. The mind listens and begins to believe what it hears repeatedly. The silent power of your inner voice shapes your reality. If you want to break free from fear, you must first master the conversation within. This mastery begins with awareness. Notice the words you use when facing challenges. Are they words of defeat or words of defiance? Do you say, "I'm afraid," or do you say, "I will act anyway"? The moment you recognize negative self-talk, you gain the power to change it. Replace fear's language with the language of power. Speak boldly to yourself. "I am fearless. I am capable. I will rise above." These are not mere affirmations. They are declarations that your mind records as truth. Repeat them until they become the unquestioned reality within you. This process is like forging a muscle. At first, it may feel unnatural or even forced, but with practice, your mind adapts. Positive self-talk creates new neural pathways that strengthen your resolve and diminish the old pathways where fear once lived. Your brain becomes trained to focus on possibility, not limitation. Moreover, positive self-talk prepares you for action. When you tell yourself, "I can do this," you prepare your body and spirit to perform with confidence. You create a momentum that propels you forward even when your heart races with anxiety. The right words spoken to yourself become a shield against hesitation. Remember, fear is not just an external force, it is internal dialogue gone unchecked. The way you speak to yourself either empowers you or enslaves you. Choose to be the commander of your inner voice. Make it your ally, not your adversary. This mental discipline is the foundation of all courage. Without it, no amount of external motivation will last. But with it, you develop an unshakable fortress of confidence that stands tall against the storms of fear. So, begin now. Train your mind with words of strength and courage. Speak life into your dreams. Reject the whispers of doubt. Transform your inner voice into a powerful anthem of victory. When you master your self-talk, you master fear. And when fear is mastered, you are free to become the person you were destined to be. Fear loses its power only when confronted, faced squarely, and met with unwavering courage. It is not banished by avoidance or denial, but by deliberate, daily action. The person who shrinks from fear only feeds it, allowing it to grow unchecked in the shadows of hesitation. But the one who meets fear each day, who steps forward despite trembling hands and racing heart, begins a transformation that no obstacle can stop. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the triumph over it, and this triumph comes through the simple yet profound practice of confronting fear regularly. When you make it a habit to engage with what frightens you, you break the cycle that keeps fear alive. You teach your mind that fear is not an enemy to be obeyed, but a challenge to be overcome. This daily confrontation need not be a grand battle. It may start with small acts, speaking up when silence feels safer, trying a new task despite uncertainty, or simply looking your inner doubts in the eye without retreat. These small victories accumulate, building a reservoir of courage that grows stronger with each challenge faced. The power of daily confrontation is that it retrains your mind. Fear thrives in the unknown and the untested. But when you meet it repeatedly, you prove to yourself that you can survive, that the consequences you imagine are rarely as dire as your mind projects. Each time you step into fear, you chip away at its illusion, replacing it with the reality of your strength and resilience. This process is like forging steel. Each strike against fear tempers your courage, making it more durable and unyielding. The person who refuses to retreat grows invincible not because fear disappears, but because their will becomes stronger than fear's grip. Moreover, daily confrontation trains your spirit to expect and embrace challenges. You become someone who does not run from difficulty, but seeks it out as the path to growth. Fear becomes a familiar companion, one that no longer dictates your actions, but serves as a measure of your progress. Remember this truth: the greatest fear is fear itself, not the external challenge, but the internal surrender to doubt. When you confront fear daily, you refuse to surrender, you take back control of your mind and your destiny. This habit also builds confidence that radiates into every area of your life. You become a person who acts decisively, who embraces uncertainty with boldness, and who moves forward regardless of obstacles. Fear's power diminishes because it loses its ability to surprise or intimidate you. So make a pact with yourself. Each day, face one fear, no matter how small. It might be a fear of rejection, failure, or speaking out. Whatever it is, confront it. Step into it with courage, knowing that with every confrontation, you grow stronger and more fearless. The path to freedom from fear is not avoidance, but confrontation. Through daily practice, you will transform fear from a towering adversary into a mere shadow. You will become unstoppable, and in this transformation lies your true power. The power to live fully, to dream boldly, and to achieve greatness without fear holding you back.